Hello and welcome to Focus 54. My name is Jeffrey Murimbeci and welcome to your real guide of African news. As you know by now, the buzz is in the south of Africa, where Zimbabwe is holding the Sadc Industrialization Week, which is a precursor of the Sadc Summit, which will be held right here in Harare. Exhibitors, various delegates from various entities have been a part of this event, and we will show you later on and give you insight and get you to meet some of the delegates that are here, some of the exhibitors, and what they are seeing, how bilateral relations are going on, trilateral relations, and above all things, regional integration as the biggest question. But to kick off this episode, we start off by discussing what's happening in regional news. And we start off with Zimbabwe. And we take it to Zimbabwe and Uganda. And by now, we want to just throw this in there that Zimbabwe have been crowned the new kings of African rugby after beating Algeria in a Rugby Africa Cup final in Kampala. But back home, Zimbabwe's president and SADC chairperson, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, has emphasized the importance of utilizing arable land and promoting irrigation to ensure food security in the region. Speaking of food security, these are one of the topics that are on top of the agenda. Economic zones, free movements of goods, services, and people. This is also part of the discussion around value addition in terms of agriculture. And the president has started this conversation and reiterating the sentiments that are being spoken about within the region. Right down in South Africa, there is a new twist in South African politics where the country's ruling party, the African National Congress, the ANC, has decided to expel former President Jacob Zuma for leading a rival group in the May elections. And as you know by now, Jacob Zuma formed the Mkhonto Wesizwe, which is now called the MK. And it also got some headway and getting a percentage of the vote. And in a very peculiar case that a member of one party started another and managed to actually get a percentage of the electorate in an election. And we are informed that Jacob Zuma wants to contest this verdict. And then lastly, we move to Nigeria, where repercussions and I would say that justice will be served for the victims of child trafficking and kidnapping. A significant development has taken place in the fight against terrorism within the country. A mass trial has resulted in the conviction of 125 Boko Haram Islamist militants by the federal court. The two-day trial presided over 5 federal high court judges who held the military detention facility in Kaji in the Niger state. And this wraps up the first segment of Focus 54. We have a lot that is coming through. Some amazing guests, and thanks to the Sadc Industrialization Week, we have access to quite a number of people that would have found difficulties getting in touch with. Stay tuned for more and find out who we'll have a conversation with next. Now, I'm very excited to be talking to one of the people with the most colossal tasks at the Sadc Industrialization Week, a lady that is in charge of the Deputy Executive Secretary in charge of regional integration. It might sound like something that is very easy on the tongue, but this is a colossal task that has multiple layers, and I am talking about Angele Makombo N'tomba. Thank you so much for making time to come to Zimbabwe, and how difficult has been your task putting all of this together?
And thank you for having me. Putting this together has been a huge task, as you can imagine, in terms of conceptualization, in terms of organization, procurement. But I have to commend really sincerely the government of Zimbabwe, because, you know, every year we have this industrialization week, ahead of the Council of Ministers and the summit. And this cannot be possible. This cannot be a success without, a very close collaboration with the government, commitment. And we have seen it that the government of Zimbabwe have made every effort to make it a success, and it's a success. We have to work closely with us, Sadc Secretariat, the government, but also the private sector. And here, the Zimbabwean, industries have worked together with us very closely. That's why you see the success that we are having. In terms of, you know, it's well organized, but also in terms of the attendance, over, they said 2,000, yes, exactly. And other people are actually also, have, have been saying that still waiting to be registered, even 2 days before the closing of the event. And also in terms of the discussion that we have had, the workshop. Yeah.
What are these discussions? But before we get deeper into the discussions, your job, your mandate is regional integration.
Exactly.
It's a simple English word to say regional integration, but what is the grand vision? Where do you personally see regional integration within the region to say we have arrived, Jeff? This is where we want it to be.
Without regional integration, the development of the Sadc region will be slow, will be jeopardized, because it sounds like a nice word, regional integration, but it implies that the 16 Sadc member states work very closely, be able to go from Zimbabwe to DRC to Tanzania to South Africa easily, and to have a movement of people, but of movement of businesses, a movement of goods and services, which is not the case. It's not yet the case because we don't have the required infrastructure yet. We don't have enough energy infrastructure. So all this it implies, working together, having harmonized policies, harmonized implementation also. And I will just give you an example. One of the challenges we are having right now between DRC and Zambia at the Kasumbalesa border. We know that the DRC has a very small access to the sea, and so many of our goods comes through coming from South Africa or Tanzania to Zambia to get to the DRC. But at the border, we have, experiences a lot of challenges in terms of the customs. Yes, you can see hundreds of trucks lining up, to go over to the border. So because of what? Because of the lack of harmonized regulations, policies.
Talked about two things so far.
Yeah.
You've spoken about key infrastructure.
Yeah.
To the grandmothers out there and the young business people out there. When you're talking about key infrastructure, is it beyond roads alone? What key things do we need, if we're to name just a few?
Key things we need in our region, I say it first, energy.
Energy.
Yes. You can see many of our countries experiences, power outrage. And, but at the same time, we have the potential to have, a lot of energy. And for example, they talk a lot about the potential of the Inga Dam in the DRC. But why this Inga Dam project is not really moving fast enough? Because of lack of funds. So regional integration touched to a lot of challenges in terms of access to market, access to funds, access to energy, and also, I said, policies. And this, we can overcome that if we really are serious about industrializing our region, you know, and we can industrialize our region if we really um, work, push first, promote our private sector, and have the government and the private sector work hand in hand. And in our different countries, you hear the private sector complaining a lot about, inadequate policies, uh, inadequate access to fund, inadequate access to markets, and the fact also that in our region we have a tendency to to love products coming from outside.
Europe.
Yeah,
Other
Europe,
continents.
exactly. Instead of first, focusing on our own product, promoting our own products, and you can see here at this industrialization week that this has given the opportunity of our businesses of our country to showcase what they are doing.
I agree with everything you're saying. We've seen that the interest, different businesses from different countries want to speak. But is there a provision? I'm not saying that we're talking about a central bank. Is there a provision to have a center of money or some sort of reserve, a regional block where we can say this is where those that want to expand, like you said, that energy project can go and borrow as the DRC from this fund? Is there an existing fund in which money can be generated for projects and development of the region?
We have actually in the Sadc Treaty a provision about a fund, Regional Development Fund, in short RDF, which is, you know, in the treaty. But for decades, we have not operationalized the fund yet. And this is really a challenge. And we are glad to see that the president of Zimbabwe has really committed under his term as a chair of SADC to push for the operationalization of that fund, the in short RDF, Regional Development Fund. And we are hoping that with this fund, but also with our international cooperating partners, there were many of them here during this week, FDB, the and now with the FCA that we have assigned, there are prospects that things are going to move. We really want to see by next year or in 2026 this fund to be operationalized.
Now, you've been talking about the movements of goods and services. For a very long time,
Yeah.
we have spoken about this with various entities. How easy is it to travel now within these 16 countries? Is there ease of travels? Are airlines building up? And why doesn't SADC have its own airline? I'm sure you can imagine having a SADC airline that makes it easy to travel.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. I can
Let
tell
me
you.
know.
I can tell you a story that from the DRC, Kinshasa, I was supposed to go to Gaborone in Botswana, and can you imagine that the route I took? I did Kinshasa. I have to go east to Addis Ababa, then go to Joburg, Johannesburg, and then to Gaborone. So this must change. And this wonderful idea to have a SADC airline, we are cherishing it. It's not yet at the level of ministers, council of ministers, or head of. I would say it's a dream. It's not yet a project, but it's a dream. It's an idea that we want to push because, it's no. There's no reason why we should take, even Gaborone, Harare, you know, because there is a direct flight on for
Once
2 days,
a week.
once a week.
Yeah.
But usually we have to go through South Africa and then Harare. And you know that from August this year, Zimbabwe will be sharing Sadc. The president of Zimbabwe will be the chair, and you will see a lot of us, here in Harare for the different ministerial meeting. And if we had a Sadc airline, things would be much easier for us to come and go and yeah.
I can say this as representing all the young people, and as you know, Africa is the continent with the highest demography of young people.
Yes.
We're very excited to know that you are laying good foundations for people like us to develop and have SADC integration. It won't happen in 2 days, it won't happen in 1 week, but it's a continuous progress. Thank you so much for taking so much of your time.
It was a pleasure.
I know with you, we would have had our own conference discussing all of these solutions on behalf of all the 16 members. But thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts and vision. And we hope that next year when we come through, we'll have less challenges and more victories.
I hope so too. And I keep saying that regional integration is a political will, and if all our head of states, and they are committed, but they have now to implement. And as a last word, I would like to say that we have several protocols on different areas, including, industry and trade. But we see that our respective countries have not signed or ratified. So this is also delaying the implementation of many of our programs and projects. And we are really counting of the chairmanship of the President of Zimbabwe to really push many of that.
So, as you've heard, regional integration is all political will. It's all to do with countries committing, and the big colossal task is on Zimbabwe's president to make sure that, like she said, to push and make sure that the regional integration dream becomes a reality within our time. For Focus 54, I'm Jeffrey Murimbechi. And welcome back to the SADC Industrialization Week. This time we touched down in Botswana, right here in Harare. I'm joined by Itumeleng, who is the export manager at representing Botswana. I believe off air you told me to say Dumelang.
Yes, sir.
That's
how you greet.
That's how
and you say Dumela Ma or Dumela Ra.
Dumela
Ra is for gentlemen
Uh-huh.
and Ma is for ladies.
Wow. Thank
Yes.
you so much for that. And
You're welcome.
thank you so much for coming through. And you've got a lovely stand. A lot of things are going on here.
Thank you.
The very first question, that I always ask when platforms like this, was it worth your while taking the journey to come through to Zimbabwe at this point in time and meeting with other people from SADC?
It has been worthwhile. We see Zimbabwe as an opportunity for us to come and interact. Our presidents have a very good relationship, and they've been cultivating that to allow us to see the need to engage with each other. So it was just quite natural for us to come here to take up this opportunity of participating here and exhibiting our products for the SADC region to look at them with interest.
Would you be surprised if I told you that it's only this year and last year when I discovered that you have deltas and all sorts of flora and fauna that I haven't visited yet? How are you bridging that gap with people like me who are exposed, who have traveled, but we don't know that right next door we've got such beauty?
Well, we do have institutions that try to do their best in trying to put Botswana out there. Botswana Investment and Trade Center is one of them. We are responsible for putting Botswana in the world map. We have the responsibility of nation branding. And we also have Botswana Tourism Organization, which is focusing on tourism. So those two institutions and other supporting institutions are responsible for taking Botswana to the world. And I know they have been doing a lot. We've been trying to take the opportunity to go to exhibitions, to go to conferences, to go to events all over the world. We do have some international events which we hold in Botswana, and we always market them for people to come. We just this weekend actually, we had the Desert Bush Walk, which is one of the activities that we have people coming from all over the world to come and walk in the desert as one of the
And
activities.
I missed out on that.
Yes, and we've also had Makadi Khadi Epic, which is one of the iconic events that we are holding. They do skydiving on a salt pan, and you can imagine the beauty of the salt pan. It's like a flat surface. When you are walking on it, it's like you are walking to eternity. So those are some of the experiences. Yes, we do. One of the biggest inland salt pans.
So this is the conversation I think we should be having. Why is it that as SADC countries, we've not really been enjoying the fun bits of our trade? Growing up, where we have a lot of traders from Zimbabwe who buy things from Botswana and some people from Botswana. How then can we grow this to young people on digital platforms to rebrand the dream of visiting SADC? I mean, Francistown is 5-6 hours drive from Harare.
Yes.
Why have we not yet been utilizing that? Or you are the first to bring the renaissance to that?
Well, we in Botswana, speaking personally, I met a lot of Zimbabweans in Botswana who come by bus, some fly. So the borders are really open, and you get if you have a passport, you are able to travel to Botswana. So we are always inviting people because Botswana for us is your destination to come and invest, to come and study, to come and live, to come and even play in Botswana. So we are inviting people to come to Botswana to do all those. And we are also, our population, we are trying to grow our population. So the more people we have in Botswana, the more market base we will have for some of the products that we produce.
Now, if you really look at it, Zimbabweans, I would say 4 out of every 5 young Zimbabweans have a business that is going on, and they always want to expand. Hypothetically, if I was to land in Botswana today and want to register a corporation, go through all the paperwork, and establish a business that will also empower people of Botswana. Welcome back to Focus 54, and this time I'm joined by Valentine Kagubora, who is a part of the Tanzanian Investment Authority. And thank you so much, my brother, for making your way to Zimbabwe and showing off with all the wonderful things from your country. Are you enjoying this industrialization week so far?
Yes, I'm enjoying very much. I'm enjoying seeing different people moving from here and there, and others coming to our booth of Tanzania. But also we are enjoying seeing investors, traders, and businessmen coming to exchange ideas and ideas for business. And also we are happy to share investment opportunities available in Tanzania. But also the weather is good and everything is good.
Tanzania, located in the eastern, part of the continent, you have access to the ocean, you have a port, you have a buzz of local traders at a place called Kariakou, which I once visited.
Yes.
What opportunities are there for the whole Sadc region to use your port and to use your expertise to bring bulky goods all the way from east part of the world to the rest of the southern part of the world?
Yeah, in Sadc region we have 16 countries within the Sadc community, and I see this is an opportunity to trade between us and among us. For those who have something and other countries not have, it's the moment to import from each other or to export to another country. So as Sadc countries, and we as Tanzania as part of Sadc countries, we see Sadc countries and the region as the opportunity to trade between each other, and also making sure that we grow the economy, we make money, and we create jobs to the youth and all that.
Now I'm joined by Dr. Maponga, who is with the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Now you had two amazing discussion panels, discussion topics that you're talking about. Can you let us know a little bit more about that, about the two of them?
Yes, indeed, they were amazing. Amazing in the sense that they were tackling critical issues in the development of not only of Zimbabwe but also in the development of the region. One of the panels focused on special economic zones. You know, as the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, especially our sub-regional office in Lusaka, we are supporting industrial development in our member states, and really special economic zones is one of the tools that we are trying to urge member states to perfect so that they can support industrial development and also the participation and contribution of micro and small scale medium enterprises. Hence the discussions during that particular session really went into what are the success factors, what should member states do to ensure that the special economic zones are developed and sort of profiled in a manner that will facilitate the growth of industry, the growth of skills, innovations within these sectors, as well as contribution to the export of processed products. That was one of the sessions.
The first one?
The second session focused on critical energy transition minerals. I think, as you are aware, there's a lot of space around the movement and really moving towards clean energy, the clean energy transition.
Yes.
And hence that discussion was looking at how Africa, how the Sadc, how countries like Zimbabwe that are endowed with the critical energy minerals, the lithiums, you know, the manganese, the graphite, the nickel, how can they best ensure that they optimize the benefits of this transition? Importantly though, the discussion was looking at how we won't leave those that are sitting on those minerals behind, ensuring that the benefits transcend across all stakeholders within the economies. So those were fantastic discussions that we had.